Welcome back. How are you? Great. Glad to hear it. Such an enthusiastic response. Thumbs up. What do you do at this point in the class with your monitor? Turn it sideways. We are in week 11. And that means you need to do all of your lecture. Well, if you're in my online class, you're watching this lecture, good for you. And if you're in my online class, you need to do your discussions. I realize I'm making these videos for my online class, and I've been telling them each week to do their discussions. Whoops. Because I've been showing the in-person class. And then you have your assignments. You should be all the way up through week 10, and this week you're working on week 11. So that should all be old hat for you now. Like, you should be like, I don't know why you're still telling us this, Todd. But this is what we got this week. Totally easy. Okay, easy. But just 2. There is, some people are a little bit surprised by this. We were talking about it last week. There is extra credit. So I really recommend you do extra credit. This is a slam dunk, easy. But make sure you watch the video so you understand the context of why you're doing it and you could benefit from the exercise. And there's a place where you could get a bachelor's degree online for free, or like $30 a class. It's fully accredited, which is all you need for the school to be accredited. Right? And that's totally worth knowing about. So if you go there and you go through the application process up to the payment place, even though this video says you have to pay, but if you go up to the payment place, just let me know you did it. Send me a screenshot. I'll give you 5%. Because I just think, a lot of people hit a wall with their education just because the time demands, they're unable to do it, get to campus, they got to work, whatever. And the financial demands, those are gone. You could take 1 class a semester or 2 classes a semester for 8 years and get your bachelor's degree, and it'll cost you $2,000 maybe. Right? That's awesome. Google Power Searching is pretty cool if you want to learn more about how to use Google more effectively. So there's a couple of videos here that you can watch and then make notes on them and just send me your note. This is totally involved. But if you want to be awesome at Excel, do that extra credit and you'll get 5%. So it's not proportional to the work. Like, this is like, a couple hours work, or this is like as you're doing your life, it's no time, right? Project Do Good. This one's going to take you a couple of days, right? This one will take you an hour or 2 just to kind of go through it. And this one will take you a couple of days. And then we have course materials here in my IT lab. So you should be this week on 11. So this is week 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're in the second one in Access. And you should have already done, you should do Chapter 11 quiz. And you should have already done the lab test for Word and Excel. So that's kind of what you got on the docket. That's what you got on the docket for doing stuff. Today we're going to talk about websites. How do you build websites? And I think I should change the title of that to "and apps" because people are really interested in apps. So what do y'all know about that? Who is teaching today? What do you guys know? Are you interested? 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 Are you interested? Are you interested in websites and apps? What interests you guys about it?
Apps are entertaining.
Apps are entertaining?
Being able to create something.
Being able to create something, man. That's awesome. Being able to support your family, have a good job, good income, that's another really good reason. But it's really sort of a transitional point in the history of humanity. Have I given you guys this? I think I did first week, right? Like, there have been a few things which have really sort of changed the way, the culture of humans exist. So one of those things was the plow. And the plow really helped to enable us to go from hunters and gatherers who just walked the land like kung fu, having adventures, which actually sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, me too.
To agrarian-based society. And that's a word that if you go through college, you should leave college knowing that word. agrarian. Of or relating to cultivated land or the cultivation of land, a person who advocates a redistribution of land properly, especially as a social movement. Maybe that's not the word I'm looking for. Agriculturally based society, something like that. I thought that was it. I'm pretty sure that's it. It's an agrarian society, of or relating to cultivated land. Yeah, it's a society that, cultivates land, right? So agriculturally based society. There's the less fancy way to say it. So the plow allowed us to go from hunters and gatherers to farmers. Allowed the rising of when people settled down and they quit being nomadic. We had little villages, right? Tribes and villages. And then that really led to war because it was like, here's our village, there's their village, let's go kill them and take their stuff. No, sorry, that's just a joke. But it's also true. But they were warring when they were nomadic.
Your explanation really that was the way you put it.
Well, it's true in some ways, right? Us, them. But that was true even when we were nomadic, I bet. I wasn't there. If I was, it was a different life, and I'm not currently recalling it. So the invention of the plow is a big turning point. The invention of the printing press was another one because it allowed knowledge to be shared more readily. I was like, when did the printing press, when was the printing press invented? Printing press invented. He is like 15th century. Are you kidding me? Really? Printing press. I thought it was earlier. 1377. I don't know. So some historians say that within 200 years after the invention of the printing press, we had the Renaissance and we had the scientific revolution. So some people say that that is really related to the fact that we had more access to information. Are you pointing to something?
That's amazing.
What, the printing press? Yeah.
I was looking at you.
Yeah, by 1500 it was in operation throughout Western Europe. So when was the scientific revolution? Scientific revolution was, 1600? 1687, 1543. So, the printing press, full swing, 1500. Scientific revolution, mid-1600s. And then we had the Renaissance, where we had, what was it? The Renaissance, we had Romeo and Juliet, right? I don't know if that's when that was. I'm just joking. But the Renaissance was 14th through 17th centuries. So who knows? That's 1300 through 1600s. So maybe not.
Well, that's hand in hand with the printing press.
Yeah, about the same time as the printing press. But anyhow, so that was another big turning point, being able to mass produce books. And then what's the next big turning point? There's lots of them, but what's another really big one?
Industrial Revolution.
Industrial Revolution, man. Right? The assembly line, mass production. Everybody gets as much soda as they want to drink for the rest of their lives. You get to be as fat as you want. We're no longer hunting and running. We're sitting on the couch.
Is what they call it now.
What is it?
Low-obesity.
Why low-obesity?
Globesity. The whole
Global.
world's fat.
Because it's global.
No, man, that's not true. You go to like Asia, and it tripped me out. I'm like, whoa. Everybody here is skinny. There's like, here it's just like thick is like a sign of good manliness or something. Whoa, that guy's thick. And over there it's just like everybody's fit. I saw one person out of shape, one big person who was an Indonesian when I was in Bali, and I saw him in McDonald's eating.
He's on his way.
He's on his way, getting Americanized. So the assembly line, Industrial Revolution, another really big turning point. And that really defined our society for the last bit of time. But we've gone into a new age, the information revolution, right? Where we have access to so much information. You're carrying the Library of Congress in your pocket. Anything you want to know, look it up. And that might seem like it's not novel to you because you grew up with it. That is amazing. Dave and I, and Hanley, Arlen, thank you. I got there. Dave and Arlen and I, what's up, man? Good to see you. Wherever you want. This is our new tutor, you guys. He's going to help us out. So I'm going to try to talk as little as possible so you can work and he can help you.
I'm going to be here 15 minutes late every day.
Yeah, his name's Carson. super smart guy. Hired him to come in and help us. So
Encyclopedias.
yeah, you know, like Arlen, Dave, and I, we used to have to go to the library to look stuff up. And when you got there, it was not easy, right? But now you can look it up instantaneously. Not only that, you could see where you've been because your phone is checking you. You could go to Google location history. Not only that, like, you know, everything I've ever said to Google Voice recordings archive. There's some place in here where you're quietly recording your voice, right? The hack news. So you could come in here and where do you go? I'm not sure if that's it. We'll just see. History, log into history.google. I don't know if I want to go here on live TV. That's a little risky. So, you know, history, Google, right? But so pretty amazing. So websites, apps, being able to share information revolution. So I'm just going to, you know, if people have Q&A, we could just do that. Like, give me some Q&A and we could talk about it. Otherwise, I'll fire off some information at you. How's it work, Todd? That'd be a question. You guys heard that routine about gangsters don't ask questions by Hannibal Buress? Totally funny. Just Google Hannibal Buress. Hannibal Buress. Gangstas don't ask questions. Well, it's here inside pickle juice. So, gangsters don't ask questions. You heard Lil Wayne say, somebody asked I don't know, I can't remember. Lil Wayne was like, gangsters don't ask questions. Hannibal Buress is like, what do you mean gangsters don't ask questions? They ask questions all the time. Where's my money? That's a question. What? That's two questions. It's kind of funny. We'll watch it in the class. All right, so I'll just fire some information off. When you think about a website, you got to think about the front and the back. The front end, the back end. Those are like two different design ways, right? Two things you think about with design. And the front end is done with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That's the front end. Okay, HTML is your content. CSS is your styling. JavaScript is your client-side functionality. Okay, so client-side functionality. Kind of don't know if I want to bring all that up, but it's kind of interesting. So why this is loading. So that's the front end. And you guys are learning HTML and CSS, and then you're going to learn a little JavaScript. So you're getting a taste of it in this class, and you're getting a good taste of it. So if you continue into my spring class with HTML and CSS, you'll get good, right? And by next May, you'll be able to like do some stuff. And you know, and by do some stuff like Greater Commons, right? Like, that's cool, right? Or do some stuff like Summer Web Bootcamp. That's cool. Or do some stuff like, I thought I had another one, but Fresno Radon. I haven't been there in a while, apparently. Loading, there we go. That's cool. I like build some sites, you know? Which nobody will look at because the internet's completely saturated and you came to the party late and all that's left now are a few peanuts on the floor and crushed pretzels with sour beer. That's not true. You build something and it's awesome, you could totally dominate, you could rule. So that's the front end. So let's see some JavaScript in action. Twitter clone. We'll do 14. Change 56. 14. Go app serve. And so, you know, here is like, I don't have a temp here anymore. Let's see if I have one here. I don't. All right, so I need to go localhost 8080. Localhost 8080. And I could go to login. I could go to create account. So I'm creating an account. I could go localhost 8000. I can see who already has an account. And this is just a test thing. Dashboard viewer. Is there no data? Dashboard viewer. Select a different namespace. No, that's it. All right, so we'll create one. So I'm going to create a test example, and the Twitter name will be hound dog. Okay. My password will be 123456. Except I'm going to not make that an email. I'm going to make it test. And I create an account. Whoa, that has to be an email. That's JavaScript. It didn't go to the client. It didn't go to the server to validate it. JavaScript is looking, is your email equal, right? And so now it's tested example. Cool. And it's like, whoa, your passwords didn't match. That's JavaScript. That's client-side scripting. That's computer code running on the client's machine. 123, 123. Create an account. Cool. Let's go back. Create another account. This will be test 2 at example. And I'll put in my password 123, 123. Just somebody totally different. And HONDDO. Whoops. Whoa. Somebody already has that Twitter name. What about Hound Doggy? Cool. Hound Dog? No. That's JavaScript. And it's taking whatever I type in each time I enter something into the input field, and it's checking the database. You know, on the server, does somebody have that username? And when somebody has that username, it tells me it's already taken. Otherwise, it's cool. And that's awesome functionality right there. And you can see that in action right here in the console. As I type something in, H-O-U-N, and it's like false, 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 meaning, you know, is that username taken? False, it's not taken. H-O-N-D-D-O-G, true, taken. Show the message. Wow, awesome. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, client side. And you could like all this code to do that. You're like, how did you do that? You could come take my other classes. Because I can't show it to you in this class. All right, but just like a taste of it, here is sign up. So here's the JavaScript to do that. Not that much.
Wow.
You know, and to do that thing, to check the username, we're using Ajax. Right there. Right? And here, username taken. If it's true. That looks pretty complicated. Well, you know, spend a class with me and you'll be like, oh man, put some Ajax in that. No, like this, homie, move. Or whatever, right? Get out of my way. You've got to open it. What are you doing? So that's front end. And then back end is the server. Because you got your clients and you got your servers. It's just like this image, right? Well, or not. It's like this image right here. Could it be any smaller? All right, you have your clients, which are the browser, and they make a request to a server, and then the server makes a response to the client. Right, so this is client-side programming. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript gets sent to the client, and it runs on the client. And then over here, you have some server-side logic, where somebody could disable JavaScript on their browser, right? So here, I could come in here, and then I could go into settings, and I could disable JavaScript. You're no longer running JavaScript. I'm no longer running JavaScript. Your JavaScript's not going to check any of my stuff. I'm going to send you way jacked up things, try to wreck your server. You better be checking that on your server, right? So do the passwords match? You got to check that on the server too. Is this username taken? You got to check that on the server too. Trust nobody with web programming. So that's server-side programming. So how do you do your front end? Well, there's some shortcuts. You can go to this website, and you can just look at like websites that have already been built. You know, and you can say, hey, I like that one, or I like this one, or I like that one. You could download it and use it. So I think this might be the one my friend used, because my friend grabbed one of those. There it is. And built this. So nice. Dang, man, you must be good. No, I downloaded that. I just changed a few things. I knew how to read it and change it. Right? About me. Some nice parallax going on there. Whoa. That's a really nice site. I was really impressed when I saw that. But that image, right? Look at this leaf, that branch right there. That branch right there, right? So it's like an image on top of an image. Or, you know, a web, you know what I'm saying? It's parallax. This is just an image in the background, and then you just say, hey, I'm going to show it at certain points and not at other points.
Yes.
So really nice.
So transparencies.
Static sites don't have any server-side logic going on. It's just static. Dynamic sites can change. So you log in, and then it can be customized for you. The backend, right? The way you could do it with the server-side scripting, client-side scripting. We kind of heard about that already. Different server-side languages you could choose today. Anybody interested? What are the server-side choices today for server-side languages? Anybody?
Linux?
Linux is an operating system, so you'd run Linux most likely as your server for the operating system, but then you're going to have some other language on top for the server functionality, for the web server functionality. So nobody's interested? No
Do they
hands.
still use
I'm not going to say it
C++?
then. Some people could probably still use C++,
So no.
probably. But your choices today would be the most popular ones today: Node.js, Python, Ruby, and I think the best choice is Go. That's what I'm teaching. It's better
Is
than
it
all
the
those other
Google one?
choices. It's a Google language.
What about the other ones?
Not so good. And you want to, like, Python is created by some dude named Guido. Okay, do I want to drive a car created by a dude named Guido, or do I want to drive a car created by Google? Right? Like, do I want a language created by some single dude, or do I want one created by one of the best, if not the best, software engineering firm to have ever existed? Do I want a language created by one dude, right? Or do I want a language created by Rob Pike, Ken Thompson, Robert Gressimer, who are luminaries in computer science, who helped create Unix, UTF-8, and the C programming language? Like, these are some of the fundamental, bedrock, foundational things, most popular things in computer science, right? Rob Pike, Ken Thompson, Robert Gressimer helped create those. And then they hit a wall at Google where none of the current languages were meeting Google's needs. And so these dudes who helped create some of the most seminal, influential languages and coding schemes in computer science created a new one called Go. I want to know about that language. Guido, one dude, hasn't really done anything else like on the radar in computer science in his life, and then he broke backwards compatibility and created version 3 because he thought version 2 was too messed up. And if you write in version 3, it doesn't work with version 2. And nobody followed him. Everybody stuck with version 2 because they'd already done all this work in version 2. And they had no way to just bring it up to version 3 without rewriting it all. That's a problem. Node.js, two of the most prominent contributors to Node.js. Can't think of one of the dudes' names, but the other dude's TJ Hollywaychuk. They left Node to Go. Right? And they built Node. So that's Node's dead, Python's dead in my book. And then Ruby's just like, software equivalent of fascism. Like, this is how you have to do it. You have no choice. You can't customize it. It's convention over configuration, convention over customization. So to me, and PHP is slow as mud. That's like you're a decade dead if you're using PHP. PHP would have been a good choice in 2002, right? Which is what Zuckerberg chose to write Facebook in, and Facebook is sucking air because it was written in PHP. Facebook in the last month has been down like 4 times. They had to write a custom compiler for PHP and reconfigure PHP to be PHP quote unquote hip hop. That's what they called it, and to try to speed up PHP. But PHP is poopy. JavaScript's even kind of poopy, which is Node, right? Because JavaScript was written in like 10 days again by one dude, and not a rocket science. You know, definitely a really brilliant guy, but not Rob Pike, Ken Thompson, Robert Gressimer, with additional engineers helping out, right? And so JavaScript, written in 10 days as just one little project inside a company, somehow became massively popular, but it's got all these weird idiosyncrasies. And people who write JavaScript, it gets all wacky functional programming with callbacks, and it's confusing. Right? And Go is like, let's write programming that you can actually read. So it's a great choice for a language. So then your server is going to have databases where you store data. It could be a SQL or a NoSQL database. A SQL database is a schema-oriented database, like Access, where you have tables, and the tables have relationships, and that's what we saw up here when I showed you the puzzle. Yeah. So here's a schema-less database. And it's known as NoSQL. And so now in my data store viewer, I could list entities, and I have Hound Dog because I created that one account. But I could just change this as at a whim. I could add more fields. And so I don't have to adhere to any schema. It's up to me, the developer, to create the relationships and how I get to the data and how it's all connected. And that's a lot faster than SQL or schema-oriented databases. So browsers, that's all kind of high level. And I'm a little bit, I don't know, like hammered. I was at the bar before work, so kidding. It's a joke. Hammered because I've been working so hard and not getting enough sleep. But so browsers, right? The way the web works is text gets sent, over the wire through the internet. Your browser receives that text, and then it interprets it, and it renders a page. So it reads that text and interprets it. So when I'm looking at Reddit, what actually got sent to me was this. I want you to open all of it at once. Which one do I do to do that? There it went. Open. No. Open. There we go. Right? Like, this is what got sent to me.
Spam?
Huh?
Look like spam.
Yeah. So it's just a whole bunch of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And then my browser takes all of that and turns it into this. Seems like there's something else I wanted to say about that, and it just came back to me. Use Google Chrome. That's it. Don't use Internet Explorer. Don't use Firefox. Don't use Safari. Don't use anything else. Use Google Chrome. And again, the reason you want to use Google Chrome is it was created by the best software engineering firm to have ever existed. It's better. It's a better product.
I feel like you're just kind of biased towards Google.
Okay.
I hate using.
I have an opinion on this.
Oh, let's hear it, Carson.
Google Chrome has way more features than Firefox or Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer is extremely slow. Firefox is faster than Google Chrome, but it's not worth the lack of features.
Cool. I am opinionated or biased. Thank you. I appreciate both of you chiming in. But I feel like my bias is rooted in experience. So that doesn't necessarily mean I'm right. But that's what I'm going to choose. And you could pry Chrome from my cold, dead fingers. You could have my Chrome when you pry it from my cold, dead fingers. So HTML is made up of tags and attributes. We've already seen that, right? Like we have the HTML tag, the head tag, the title tag, and then the image tag. And the image tag might have the attribute of what? href or source? You guys remember? So image MDN, if we want to look something up, image MDN. So the attribute would be source. href, source. I'm confused. Image source, that's an anchor. Image source. I don't have that completely committed to memory. Google Sites, so you could build sites, and that was one of our assignments at Google Sites. You guys have seen that. That's a way you could do a quick site. There's also other places like Google Sites out there, like Quix, I think. Create website. Wix. Squarespace. Don't ever use GoDaddy. There's another opinion. Wix apparently became Weebly because I just clicked Wix.
No,
I didn't. There we go. It's Weebly. Wix.
I've tried Weebly before. It made me really sad.
Well, yeah, it's a nice idea, but it's can be hard to configure. I created one for these dudes. I forget what their name was. Clovis Tree Service. Clovis Tree Service. Yeah, these are the guys. These guys are awesome. I took this picture right here in front of my house. And I don't know where that one is. I wish that was. But, you know, they love cutting trees down. Like, look, they're just having a good time up in the woods cutting trees.
Looks fun.
And grinding the stone up high. Up high. And really nice guys, but they had no online presence. And so after they got done, let's see, don't they have, oh, here it is, Clovis Tree Service. What a good name. So I built this for them with Wix or Weebly or something, right? And then I put them a Yelp thing, and it's like totally just simple. But this is what, you know, if you spend a half hour with Wix or Weebly, this is what you get. We love trees. Our passion is cutting down trees.
Wow.
But like they got so much business out of that, this and me doing Yelp for them. The dude called me back up. He's like, "What kind of beer do you like?" I told him, but he hasn't brought it by. So you have to bring me beer. I'm going to bring you beer, he said. See, I don't know where's my quote. There I am, first one. Cool dudes. So that's Wix, Weebly. So it makes a difference, right? Like they got a lot of business just with a simple site. So you need to get a domain if you want to, you know, have a site. So where do you buy a domain? You could go to Google Domains, and you could purchase a domain. I'm not going to show you this because you need to see my entire list of domains. I want to keep that private for all of my online businesses at which I'm making no money. It's $12 a year. It's a good question. But this is where you get a domain. You can also get one here, but it's a sign of lower intelligence and not having taken my class.
That one says 99 cents.
What?
It says 99
Of course. Until,
That's
you know,
$99.
the first 3 months have elapsed, and then,
There's always a catch.
and then you gotta like host it somewhere, you know, if you're gonna build your own. So you learn all that in my class, right? Like how do we actually put it onto the internet? People got really excited when the internet first came out and there were websites. And so this is what the stock market looked like for tech stocks. I think that's the NASDAQ. And you can see it's just like crazy, huge spike. And that's called a bubble. So they call it the dot-com bubble. And people made a lot of money, some people. And then they lost a lot of money. Some people got out before they lost it. Some people got in and then lost it, right? Those are the winds of fortune. I know one dude who made like, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars and got out like right up here. He thought, no way. Got out like right there. Bought a nice house. Big old shop out in the country. So that was not me. So that's kind of interesting. Just there's a real estate bubble. So you can see prices just kind of go absolutely nuts. This is about where I bought my wife out of my ex-wife out of her house. This is about where I sold it. I lost $200,000. Bought her out for $5 and
Damn.
sold for like $287. It's actually $300 grand because I put $100 in it. Nuts. Pretty much wiped me out. Sorry, I talk about money in an uncomfortable way for most people.
I can relate.
I was just raised in a weird environment. So that's creating a website, just sort of the basics. For an app, this is totally stupid. If you want to create an iOS app, you have to know a programming language called Swift programming language, right? And it's built, it used to be Objective-C, and then they just changed it, and now it's Swift. So you got to know that if you want to create an iOS app. If you want to create an Android app, you have to know the Java programming language, right? And not only do you have to know the Java programming language, you then have to know how to use it for Android, because there's like things you have to sort of account for. It's a different way of using that language in that to do Android apps. So if you want to do an online business today, you need to know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, some server-side language like Go. We'll just stop there, like Go, right? You need to know about like getting domains and protecting against hacks and security, right? Like how can people hack me? So you could program against that. You then also need to know Swift and how to create an iOS app, and you need to know Java and how to create an Android app. Now you could put together, you know, a viable business where you're meeting the marketplace with all the ways the marketplace expects. That's if you want to do the full force, right? Like here's my brother-in-law. He started out with this, right? Which was, you could see that's kind of old school, and then that didn't work so well. It was to prevent frauds. So if you buy something off the internet, can you ensure that the pills you bought from Canada are actually real pills produced by Pfizer? And so the idea is to put a unique code on everything, right? So if you bought a Rolex online, you could take that code and look at Rolex's website and say, okay, that was actually a real Rolex. And if too many Rolexes were sold with the same code, you know it's a fraud, right? And Rolex would know it's a fraud. That didn't take off, so he switched and took that same technology and turned it into food traceability. So every container of food coming off the field has a unique ID, and when you buy food, you can look on the bottom of the package and see that unique ID, the harvest mark, and this logo, and you could enter that at this website, and then you could see where did these berries come from, and they know what field, not only what field, but which picker, what time of day, what little area. So if there's like an outbreak of E. coli, we don't have to recall all the spinach in California. We need to recall all the spinach for these 3 acres, you know? pretty cool. It's the world's leading solution for food traceability. And he got that going and then sold that off for an undisclosed amount of money. And now he's doing this and started this, right? And so for that, he's got to have a website, shop well, right? So this is basically you, nobody ever really, you have certain dietary things, goals, like maybe you're lactose intolerant. So you could go and, hey, I want to get, and it'll give you suggestions as you're in the store. This is good for you. You're trying to avoid gluten, get this pasta, right? And here are the ratings and what people think of it. So it helps you shop. But here is, I guess, their iOS app on iTunes. And here it is on Android, Google Play, right? So he's got all three. And there's like, 8 people in his company. Like if we went and looked at his Facebook.
It was just below the 3 that got highlighted.
Was it?
Yeah. It was like the next choice down.
I don't know. What the heck, dude? Look at all these old pictures from my life. 6 years of friendship on Facebook. I want to see my brother-in-law. And let's see if there's pictures. He has fun. That looks like Seattle. He went to some food conference recently. I want to see pictures of your office, dude. I guess I should go look at his pictures, huh? Instead of just like scrolling his timeline. So here's his office. Pretty cool. I don't know why he has that on the wall. I think if you're going through hell, make friends with the devil. that's I almost texted that to him. Or right there's his little door, but it's not like a big deal yet. But it'll probably be a big deal. That's what my niece wants to be for Halloween. I want to see your office, man. Like, he's probably like, why are you violating my privacy? This is a private page. Photos. Work. I don't know. But, it's like one table with 8 computers around it. Is there a way to see photos just by time? All these photos. There we go. I don't know if that's time. I don't know where it is. Anyhow. But just starting out. But yet I have all 3. We teach an Android programming class. We also teach an iOS class. Back in the day, I kind of missed the day. Because you didn't have to know quite so much. But I was young and intimidated by programming. So I didn't seize it like maybe I should have. Try to do what I could do now. Anybody have any questions? That was a little bit of a lackluster. That's kind of a weird presentation. It's like energetically just speaking, right? Like, because I'm totally like, like I feel hammered a little bit. But at the same time, I got excited at one point. It's kind of weird, right? I don't know. Why don't you guys go rate it on Yelp or whatever you do, and I'll just look at the reviews. You like my cynical sarcasm or no? You do?
Yes.
Okay. So it's a little bit dry, but a little bit hilarious. So we talked about watching Hannibal Buress. So I think we got to watch a gangster thing. So we're going to go Hannibal Buress Pickle Juice. Hannibal Buress Pickle Juice. You can see it's like one of the things I've already watched. And if you're at home, you can watch this. And I wonder if there's anything interesting to show you in my links. That one. One of them is my passwords. Don't want to show that. And let me just see here. Hardware, how computers work, input devices, operating systems, app software, networks, the World Wide Web. What is the internet really? We saw that one. So if you haven't seen that, Google that. Filter bubbles. This is an interesting TED Talk, so you could YouTube that and look for that. We watched the one about the darknet going mainstream. That's pretty awesome. So you could YouTube that if you haven't seen it. And yeah, I think that's pretty good. See if there's anything more. Oh, this is kind of cool. That's databases, though, and e-commerce, so we'll talk about that then. But just a little preview, and, if you want to make money, who wants to make more than $10 an hour? Okay, so here are places where you can make money. Airbnb, Square, Uber, Hit Record. You want to hit somebody or be a hitman. I don't know what Hit Record does, but you can make money at all these places one way or another. So you can check them out, right? You can monetize YouTube videos. So I've had on YouTube. Do you guys want to see this or no? How much money I've made from YouTube? Not interested or interested? Show of hands, interested? All right. So YouTube and my channel. So I've had 160,000 views. And somewhere in here, analytics, maybe. I think I have to actually log into $32. And they'll show you how much for each video. Like build web apps with Golang. Holy cow, that's at 45,000 views. That's nuts. That's like my most popular one. Total estimated earnings. So you can see what different videos are earning. But, that's buying me a couple of beers.
So this is until now, or
Huh?
this was from within?
It's like just this month. Or, I don't know the last time they paid me, but as soon as you get 100, they put money in your bank. So they've already sent me $100 or something. But
How do you set this thing up?
how do you set it up? You just go create a YouTube channel and, earnings reports. Can I click on that? Why can't I click on that? It seems like that's totally clickable. That is clickable. So here are my daily earnings. It's $1 or $2 a day. Right here, whoa, $3. Big day. Right? I don't know why I don't have earning reports. Maybe I don't have enough. So and then they'll walk you through it. Well, it's like $1 or $2 a day, so yeah, about $30 a month. That's $360 a year, and that's whatever amount of views I'm getting. I'm getting like 1,000, 2,000 views a day, so I'm making about $1 for every 1,000 or 2,000 views. So if you make some pretty sweet videos that get millions of views because it's whatever funny or dopey or sexy seems to get a lot of views, right? For certain demographics or whatever, make those videos. Like if you look at like some of these people, like obviously these people made a lot of money in other ways too, but like what's that thrift shop, Macklemore, right? You guys seen that song?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's like 784 million views. So not only did he like score record contracts and stuff, but he probably made $80 off of YouTube too. or like what's the one like Gangnam style? It's like 2.4 billion views. Whoa.
Wow.
Like that guy made a couple million just off of the YouTube videos selling ads, right? Just for being totally outlandish. You guys, I'll show you this offline, but if you know how to teach anything, so LaDon's not here, he could teach how to cook chicken. He's telling me about, like, he made awesome chicken up in San Francisco and did it for this restaurant, and customers just went nuts. So he could say the LaDon method of chicken and make a little video and charge people $5, So I have some courses on here. I think this is actually going to show you revenue. Oh, I don't know. I think I'll show it offline. But you could see my courses right here. Well, you could go look at Udemy for Todd McLeod. Let's just do that and see what comes up. There's a couple of McLeods, right? So here are the courses I've made. But really, Excel, 142 ratings, that's it. But how many students? So I just charge $10. Doesn't show me the students. 23,000 students. So you guys do the math. How much am I charging?
$10.
$10. What's 10 times 23,000?
$230,000.
$230,000. Have I made that much? No. because a lot of students get in like for $1 sell promotion that Udemy does, or they get in for free. So I don't quite know how I've been paid so little, considering I've had so many. But when you look at the aggregate amount that I've been paid, it's pretty cool. So, all right, so let's watch Hannibal Buress.